I gave myself a challenge of achieving financial independence in under 24 hours of investing time.
And if I can't prove that this is actually possible, then this would be a huge loss for passive investing. Because investing often gets a bad rep of people having to put in hours of research, keeping up with the news and trading multiple times a day. But I want to prove that this is wrong and that it can actually be boiled down to a simple process.
So as the clock started ticking, I realized that I first needed to establish my goal.
Well, my end goal is to become financially independent, meaning that even if I was to stop working, I'd still be able to live indefinitely off of my own investments. And for me to do that, I'm going to propose that I want my investments to earn me around £30,000 per year. Now, you may have already heard of the 4% rule, which is the idea that you can withdraw 4% of your total portfolio value each year, and over a 30-year period, you shouldn't run out of money because your investments will outgrow those withdrawals. But this is just a general rule of thumb, and it's not entirely robust. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to adjust that value down to 3.5%. So for financial independence, I'll need a total portfolio value of around £860,000. That's my end goal. Now it's time to make a plan.
So to get my plan underway, I first had to establish the amount of risk that I could take on.
For me to get to £860,000, this is going to be a long-term goal. I don't realistically expect to do it within 20 years. So I'm happy to take on plenty of risk because I won't need to touch my investments in the short term, and I'm not too worried about any market crashes along the way. So I'm happy to invest in a 100% equity portfolio, holding no bonds, because that suits my individual risk tolerance.
But with 2 hours already gone, time was running out fast. So I moved straight on to picking an investing platform and portfolio.
Now, since I want my funds to grow as fast as possible in this challenge, it makes sense to pick a platform and a portfolio with the lowest fees possible. So this is why I'm going to choose InvestEngine, because they have no platform fees, but now it's time to build a portfolio. As I'm investing for the long term, I'm not going to make any bets on any particular markets because who knows what's going to happen in the future. So I'm going to create a portfolio that tracks the global markets as accurately as possible, which is in line with true passive investing. I'll do this by replicating a global ETF, just like VWRL, but I'll try and break it down into some separate funds just to try and get it cheaper.
I ended up settling for this 6-fund global portfolio, which invests in markets from all over the world for the ultra low cost of just 0.08%.
So I'm happy that this portfolio will get the job done. It tracks the global markets that are expected to return around 6% per year on average, and the low fees are barely going to touch that growth. So I spent around 5 hours so far focusing on my investing plan, and I'll add on some time to fill out some forms to open my stocks and shares ISA, and we're ready to start investing. My plan is to invest around £500 per month, and then we'll see where we go from there.
So I deposited the cash, invested the money, and my investing actually started. Now the best part about passive investing is that I now get to do whatever I want to do until I next log into my account.
And one thing that you know I do is make YouTube videos, and I'm actually working on a video right now about 3 must-know tips for investing. So I've been doing some research, and one thing that is common across all successful investors is having a plan. It is vital that you know exactly what you're investing towards and why you are investing. This makes it so much easier to understand your investing time horizon and your tolerance to risk, so that you can build a suitable portfolio that you can 100% commit to. If you miss out on this step, then you could end up taking on too much risk or too little risk, which means that you're going to have to make future adjustments that are going to eat into your time and your returns with trading fees.
But before we move on to the second must-know step, we have to see how the passive investing is getting on.
So 1 month has passed by, and assuming that we're going to get 6% growth per year, we can assume that my account value is now going to be at £502.50. Lovely. But that's not the important part. What is important is the next £500 that I'm about to deposit into my account, which is a simple 5-minute process, and I'm off.
I'll then repeat this process once a month for a year, adding a total of 1 hour to my total investing time.
So 1 year has passed and I've deposited a total of £6,000, and my total account value is around £6,200. I've just done a quick annual review of my financial situation just to make sure that my plan and portfolio still align with my goals. I didn't need to make any adjustments, so I'm happy that we're still on the right course. But we're almost 7 hours into the challenge and we're nowhere near our end goal, so something needs to change. So I'm going to set up a direct debit on my investing account, which is going to automate the depositing process, and it will save me a load of time.
And after just 30 minutes of getting that set up, I'm now able to get on with my life.
So whilst I have some more time on my hands, I'll go through step 2 for my new video, which is to invest consistently, as much as possible. If you want to make the most of compound interest, then you need to make sure that you have money in your investing account in the first place. And the best way to do this is by investing as much as possible, as consistently as possible. The best investors in the world don't just get the best returns, they also never miss an opportunity to get money into the markets. Because the earlier that you get more money into to the markets, the more time that it has to grow. Now, before we reveal the final and most important step, let's check back in on the challenge.
I kept on repeating the process of automatically depositing money and checking my portfolio once a year or so to make sure that it's still aligned with my goals.
We'll take a look at a snapshot after 5 years, and I will have deposited a total of £30,000, but the account value will be somewhere around 35 grand after a total of 8.5 hours of investing. So it's starting to look a bit more positive, and I'm not having to spend much time doing anything because nothing needs changing. There is nothing to worry about.
The NASDAQ, everything and more has been completely wiped out.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since
You
the
are
crash of
taking the
1980.
So after 5 years and 1 day, my portfolio has taken an absolute battering, and we're back down to £24,000. Now this is where it would be easy to panic and waste a lot of time by reading articles on the crash or trying to make changes to my portfolio. But let me just have a think.
Have your goals changed?
No.
Has your investment horizon changed?
No.
Have you brushed your teeth today?
No. I mean, yeah.
So do you need to make a change?
No. I guess I'll just stick with the plan.
And after another 5 years of consistent deposits and 6% annual returns, my account value got back up to over £67,000.
Now, since I only need to check my investing portfolio once per year, I am saving so much time. So I'm going to use that time to do something productive by creating a budget. Because after 10 years, I've got a new job, my life's changed a bunch, so let's see what we can afford.
And after budgeting in an Excel sheet for 2 hours, I managed to find some places to cut back. I managed to find an extra £100 per month that I could put towards investing.
So instead of wasting time reading pointless investing articles, I was able to focus on my personal finances instead and boost my deposits and therefore my returns. And now it's time for the final push.
And after 28 years of investing, with just 15 minutes spent each year reviewing my investing account, I finally reached my end goal in just under 20 hours.
So let's get to the third and final step of this video that I was making, which is to make sure that you stick with the plan. Because bailing on our original plan and changing our attitude towards investing is only going to hurt our returns in the long run. We need to learn to block out the noise and the external influences that are trying their best to stop us from investing consistently and sticking with a plan. Because once you figure out that you don't need to do anything as a passive investor, I'm talking minimal effort, that is when you will become successful. But now that we've finished these steps, I need to figure out how to make a video out of this, but I think I have an idea.
I gave myself a challenge of achieving financial independence in under 24 hours of investing time.
And if I can't prove that this is actually possible, then wait a minute, I'm sure I've been here before. What's happening? I'm kind of confused, but what I do know is that if you want to become the ultimate passive investor, then mastering this process is not going to be enough on its own. You also need to make sure that you are using the best stocks and shares ISA available so that you can maximize your returns. And that's why you have to watch this video here, because it's going to show you the very best investing platforms that are going to save you thousands of pounds in the long run.